Hello, it's Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest and hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, and let me introduce you to my co hosts. Of course, we have Shelly E, Yana, T, and Colleen. Joining, yes, hello? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Said hi, hola.
Yes, hello everyone. So we are back tonight. Join the conversation by leaving a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. Also, if you like independent media and want to support what we do, donate. Any amount is appreciated. You can donate on our website at www.metroconservativemedia.com. And again, you get up to date information on our website. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. All right. Also, want to check in with you guys, the audience. Thank you for so much feedback from our show last week. Oh my gosh, I think out of the last 2 years or so of us doing the show, last week's show got the most response. So keep it coming. The comments, the emails, the DMs on all of our social platforms, reaching out to each of us. We love you, Patriots. We love you. We thank you for your support, and please continue to comment on this broadcast tonight as well. All right, ladies, let's set it off. So tonight we're going to get right into it on our first topic. We are talking about Democrats. So Democrats dance for votes every election while the city education system continues to crumble under their watch and our children struggle. Specifically tonight, I am talking about the press conference here in Baltimore City that included Benjamin Crump. Attorney Benjamin Crump is joining the lawsuit against Baltimore City Public Schools. So as we have been reporting on this for quite some time now, the Pattersons, a Baltimore City family, filed a lawsuit in January against the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners, Baltimore City Council, and Mayor Brandon Scott. So today, a press conference was held at downtown Baltimore, and now joining the lawsuit is attorney Benjamin Crump. So you guys know he's known for representing families in high-profile cases, including George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Take a look at this clip.
That our children have a right to literacy in America. It is very troubling, and you know, you don't have to be a PhD or academician to understand that if you come out in this world with no education and no literacy, you can't read or write, you're already in prison. I mean, you literally are already in prison. They just haven't slammed the cell door. And so the reason I joined this legal team headed by Scott Marta and this novel legal approach, because if we can somehow get everybody to the table here in Baltimore and be transparent and talk about how we can make it better for all of our children, then maybe we can do it in other cities across America, and we can change the dismal educational outcomes that we're seeing currently in America. And we need allies. We need the National Education Association. We need everybody at the table. This is not about teacher performance. As April and Reggie said, the teachers are passionate about trying to teach our children. We need a system that will be part of the solution and not part of the problem. We need everybody coming to the table to say, yeah, we can't keep doing things the way we're doing them. Let's be honest.
Wow, can't keep doing things the way we have been doing them in Baltimore City, in cities across the country. I want to get you guys' first response. This is hot today, just happened this morning. want to start with you, Shelley. What is your response? Benjamin Crump has joined the lawsuit against Baltimore City schools.
Right. Well, I'm glad that Benjamin Crump is lending his expertise, his legal expertise, to this matter, which is of the utmost importance because our children in Baltimore, our cities, our taxpayers, our constituents are really at stake. Ultimately, the children are. He said that we can't keep doing things the way we've been doing. I'm just going to put a little caveat, kind of a parenthesis around that. We can't keep doing things the way we've been doing in Baltimore City for the last maybe 20 years. Because prior to that, or decades ago, children were adequately educated in the American schools.
All right, good point. I want to get your thoughts, Yana. We've been covering this lawsuit against Baltimore City Public Schools. Today, Benjamin Crump, attorney, has announced that he is joining the lawsuit. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm glad that he had joined, and this has to be a bipartisan issue because it's everybody's children. So, I hope that Democrats care about children. And I think that it's just a first step towards hopefully improving something. And what has to change is we got to get rid of this leftist woke education system. When he mentioned system, I really want to know how they're planning to fix it, because that's one of the things that's got to go. It has not been working.
Yeah, definitely. What are your thoughts on this, T? We know Benjamin Crump does lend a little bit of name recognition across the country to this lawsuit. As you mentioned, as you saw, he mentioned he wants to take this not just in Baltimore, but spread it across to cities across the country, that we have these systemic failings of our children within these institutions of education. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Mr. Crump is actually the homie, so I'm actually glad that he's doing this, because previously in all the other cases, it's been, the cases that the lawsuits that he's been the attorneys for wasn't really pro Black excellence. So I'm glad now that he is on this side and understands the importance of the students and what we're doing here, because like he said, the past, Shelley said 20 years, it's been like 50, and all over the state or all over the country is not looking. And so I'm just glad that he's taking this and running with it, with the name recognition and everything. But I'm sure that, this is a bipartisan situation, like Yana said. So I don't think that he get much pushback, because we all want our students and to be better students.
All right. What are your thoughts, Colleen? Benjamin Crump joining the lawsuit against Baltimore City Public Schools. He has been an advocate on the Democrat side. Now he is filing a lawsuit against Democrats, a democratically run city. We have, again, Sonia Sandilees, Democrat. Brandon Scott, the mayor's a Democrat. Our state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, is a Democrat. You feel like he's going to get any pushback against this?
I'm really curious to see how this pans out, but I am really, really just so happy that he is giving his help. Wow, what a relief, because I have not said the nicest things about him in the past, and I will apologize for this matter, because the fact that he's helping is amazing. So anybody who's willing to help, that has the kind of resume that he does to help Baltimore, we can put our differences aside for a little bit. So definitely, I really appreciate him helping, I have to say.
But can we put our differences aside? Let's be honest here. We have to put a face and a name to who should be held accountable. We see the Democrats push this whole idea of systemic racism. Now we're talking about systemic fraud, systemic malfeasance within the education system. Democrat leadership has been in leadership for decades within the city. What are you guys' thoughts on this? I'm not too afraid to say this is at the Democrats' feet. Okay. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
So
I want to follow up first, KJ, about pushing back with Mr. Crump being on this lawsuit. Again, he does have legal expertise, probably longer than my two arms put together. However, there are some concerns about him being on this lawsuit. I've heard from a couple of people today that were saying, no, is he in it for the money? Or what's he? It must be something he's getting out of this. Is it just publicity? Maybe is he even a plant? Like we talk about plants on in the political parties. Is he a plant? Is he going to derail this lawsuit? So there are some concerns that people have because of Mr. Crump's history and being known in some circles as basically a sort of a carpetbagger or ambulance chaser, or wherever there is a popular case, particularly with race, dealing with Black guys being killed or something like that. There's been Crump. So there are some concerns. To Colleen's point about him being, whatever his past is, sure, people can do good and have checkered past. I'm not taking that away from anyone. Any one of us can do that. But I'm not necessarily saying we should just automatically, start, doing backflips because we have Ben Crump on this lawsuit. I'm going to wait till it plays out.
Let's say because the lawsuit asks a judge to intervene on behalf of taxpayers and order the public school system to implement reform. So there's no money per se coming out of this. One thing we do know about Benjamin Crump that cannot be denied, and because we all are numbers people, he's a winner. I mean, most of the lawsuits that he's attached his name to, he comes out on top for his clients.
Right. But if anything we can say, he gives a shit. I mean, he really, well, at least he seems like he does. He at least gives off the idea that he gives a shit. I mean, that's what lawyers can, they're kind of actors in some senses. And that's what I've said about him in the past. I have thought of him as a fraud. I've thought of him on the same level as Al Sharpton. Honestly, I felt like he was just there for publicity. And that's why I said, I do apologize for saying that in the past, because if he really is here for that, my goodness, I appreciate
well, that's his job. He's a high profile attorney.
Right.
Yeah,
but I think it's a lot of work to be doing for free.
Of course, he's going to be attached to. You have to get paid somehow. I mean,
as I said, it's like a first step. So I do hope that it pushes something, but someone has to be afraid. I feel like, if nobody's afraid, if the system, cannot be, shaken up, like we just saw the Brandon Scott, he praised Sonia Santalese and said that she needs to be the CEO for another 6 years. So they have this like a clan over there. So like someone has to scare them that they need to do reforms. Otherwise, education is a complex matter. It's not just winning a lawsuit. I mean, you win, you say, yeah, it's messed up. But then what are you going to do about that? It's so many schools and so many children, so many teachers involved. And there has to be a real reform. There have to be people coming in, really changing the system in order for children to really feel anything in the next coming years.
Now, I want to talk, because one thing you brought up, Yana, is about the remarks Mayor Brandon Scott made. This is kind of ironic. This week, actually, he made some comments to Sonia Santalese, district CEO of schools, where we have this here, where he posted this on all of his social media, and he made a public press release on it. He says, "Let me be the first of many people to remind you that we want you here, we need you here, and we love you here in Baltimore, and we realize how fortunate we are to have you." This is what he said of CEO of schools. So Dr. Santalese, who was appointed in 2016, she's entering her 7th year on the job. She's becoming one of the city's longest serving school CEOs. Even Senate President Bill Ferguson added on, he says, stability is what matters. When you have stability in leadership and you have confidence in those leaders, that's when you see transformative change. What in the world? I mean, are these people seeing the same headlines and getting the same...
They're praising each other.
...of what's coming out of Baltimore City schools?
Yeah, they are seeing it. And KJ, is actually not so ironic that this happened this week. I thought about that too, because when Mr. Crump, the press conference today, and I said, well, just yesterday, they were praising each other. It's not so ironic. It is very well intentioned. They know what they're doing. They're doing it right in our faces. They're basically saying, F you. That's what they're saying to the city of Baltimore, the people in Baltimore.
It's crazy. And I want to get some of these numbers out to you guys, because numbers don't lie. You know, we are all conservatives and we go by the facts and by the numbers. 2016 to 2020, more than 12,000 failing grades were changed to passing, impacting graduation rates by an estimated 10%. On top of that, every year since Dr. Sanalese has been serving, student enrollment has declined, ultimately dropping by nearly 6,000 students from 2016 to 2021. And while the enrollment has been dropping, fewer students are graduating. Last year, city schools' graduation rate fell to 69% compared to the state average of 87. This woman is an F for everything she's done. I mean, I don't understand how she can get any type of praises.
And let's not forget that she's gotten 2 raises in the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. She's gotten 2 raises. She's now the highest paid. I think she's the highest paid CEO or a school CEO that, at least in Maryland, at least, if not one of the highest in the country.
It's ridiculous. And this is what I'm talking about. We live amongst this in the city, and then you know what they do when it comes around to election time. They do stuff like this. Take a look at this clip from the Democratic congressman of Rhode Island.
Vote Senator Mack.
This is what we got. This is what the Democrats are rolling out, asking you to vote for them. I got another one here. Take a look at this. Our state's attorney, who's actually running for re-election, Marilyn Mosby.
Hold on. What about this time? Right foot, let's stop. Left foot, let's stop. Cha-cha, real smooth. Turn it out.
This is what they do. They parade around. They do little fun stuff like this, dancing all over the place, and doing stuff that the culture finds popular, because they feel like this is going to get people to vote for them. This is all they have to do. We don't have to expect results, good results. They have to just shake their ass, shake them on. She got a little Beyonce jeans on, and her heels, and she popping around like she's Beyonce. This is what was going to drive people to the polls.
Well,
are we really that stupid?
I don't know if we can just limit it to Democrats, because this is what politicians do in general, because they have to get the votes. And especially doing
what Republican politician have you known to do something like that twerking video?
I'm not talking about.
How would that even play to the conservative base?
I'm talking about relating to the people, shaking hands and kissing babies. That's what they're taking it to another level. But this is what politicians do in general. Now the twerking thing. I mean, haven't we all twerked before?
No, we haven't.
Oh, I'm sure
at least not in public.
I'm sure you haven't. But my point is, it's not. I mean, she's relating to the public. I would have been like, hey.
Can you say something? She's relating to the public? What damn public?
What kind of public, too?
Who is the audience?
The people who twerk.
Right. So those are the people who are asinine and ignorant, who are voting for these people. Again, like KJ said, getting no results. And this is what we're supposed to talk about: is culture, shaking your ass wherever you can.
Exactly the game. This is what politics is. Yes.
No, this is what asses do.
If you have one, then do it.
So why is this a good thing for us? Why is this a good thing for us? Why is this a good thing for us to get in office and they're still doing nothing? Our people, we're failing. Our schools, our families, our communities. But why? I don't understand this. Why? This is our culture.
One thing she said. Listen to what T said, because she made a good point. So to get Democrats out to vote, she said, "This is what we see. They shake their ass." They dancing and stuff. To get conservatives or Republicans out to vote, you're kissing babies. So one visual is of a family oriented, you kissing babies, moms, dads, and the other is say about the constituency that they're trying to
Good job, Giovanni.
I mean, what is it? And the whole time she's doing that, somebody is in the background saying, that ass.
Yeah.
I mean, no, for real, who was that?
I don't know. It's a back and forth.
Any music, at least have some music so you can say, "Hey."
Is this what the community is about?
Yes.
That is really sad and embarrassing.
It's sad. It's really sad.
We're not embarrassed. I mean, did they come out to the polls and they vote? Oh yeah, I saw Marilyn Mosby out there doing what is it?
They were children dancing with her. There were no adults in their right minds that would want to do the cha-cha slide with Mosby. They all are like, no.
She's out of school.
Yeah.
So I mean,
when you have adults around you.
Right now, when you put that next to what we have going on in the city, it's no time for dancing. It's no time for shaking your ass. It's time to get behind the desk and do the work. Put these criminals away. Enforce the rule of law. We don't want to see you in your heels dancing. We want to see you out here making our city better. That's what I would think would be a inviting way people to get out to the polls when you see these people actually doing their damn job.
But well, that's the thing. That's the thing. They do all of this to get the votes, and then they go back into their chairs and their seats and do the same nothing. So that's where the problem lies. And once you get the votes, what are you going to do with them?
Well, and the problem lies in the voters, that people in general are so ignorant. And that actually, yeah, I mean, Democrats, of course, you can say if that's what gets them into the polls, I mean, that's really ignorant people. But for the country as a whole, that's a lesson that we are the government. Like, it's supposed to be we the people. So if that's what people are gravitating towards, what does it say about the society as a whole, as a culture?
Right. One of the things I said about that Marilyn Mobsey video with her dancing, I say what's interesting is that all those young Black, and particularly mostly the boys that were around her, this is what the irony is, this tragic irony, is that those are the same boys that she's contributing to getting killed. They don't realize it, but because of her policies, those same boys that are dancing around her, those young Black boys growing up, her policies are going to get more of them killed. That's the tragic irony there.
Yeah. And we saw her, she was on NPR. They had a forum talking to all the state's attorneys, and the interviewer asked her, is there anything you would change in regards to your policy? And she said no. She said no. I guess she feels like everything's going swimmingly along in the city. You saw that, Shelley, didn't you?
I did. I listened to it on a podcast, and my mouth was like, I was in shock almost, because when she said that, all the other candidates, I forget, Bates and Tharu Vignaraja and she were on this panel. And when the moderator asked all of them, especially her, if you're reelected or if you're elected, what changes would you implement? Now, anyone who runs a business, any kind of manager, that for your office, your department, your business, you always have goals and improvements, right, that you want to implement or going forward. There's always something that you can improve on. This wench said no, her plans are, her office is fine, her policies are fine, and she wouldn't change a thing. That's what she said.
The same person who was twerking?
This is Mobsey, Marilyn Mobsey.
Oh.
Because they live off of the taxpayers' money. It's not a business. Business actually needs to have a plan, and their plan is to keep milking.
I also read a report today that the taxpayers are going to be paying for her defense. She filed and said that she couldn't afford it. So, but also I have a question. I mean, is anybody running against her? Like, who's her competition?
Oh yeah, right now, Ivan Bates and Tharu Vignaraja, and Roya Hanna.
Well,
I mean,
she's not in the Democrat primaries.
Right.
Yeah, right. She's running as an independent. I don't even think I don't know if she's on the ballot yet. I think she has to get enough signatures to be actually on the ballot.
Exactly.
So I want to play some of these. I want to look at some of the comments here. So let's see here. We have. Let's see here. Darlene Stewart says, "It's gross." Yeah, yeah, that's what we think, Darlene. But she's playing this somebody in her constituent. We had the note because she did get a lot of feedback online. This Rhode Island congresswoman. Take a look at the feedback that she got from this twerking video. She's standing on it too. She's not, moving back from it. So you see there, and it's been kind of
someone tag her dad.
Yeah. Malik Abdul, who is a political consultant here in D.C., he says Rhode Island State Senator Tiara Mack made this video encouraging people to vote for her. She also sponsored a bill for teaching kids queer, inclusive, pleasure-based sex ed. So as you can see, she's putting in the work to do it, and this is her result. And you kind of can see people from both sides had mixed reactions, but this is crazy.
KJ, I want to say another thing real quick. Did anybody notice that these are at least these three women? I'm saying three, including the senator, I think, from South Carolina. Last week we talked about the one that called the prison and had the dope dealing going on to fund her campaign. 3 Black women. Anybody notice that? Nobody says anything about that. These are 3 Black women who are adding to the degradation of our society, of our communities. Marilyn Mobsey, what's her name? Tiara Mack, this lady, I can't think of her name, in South Carolina. 3 Black women, 3 politicians who absolutely are hurting our community. But are they going to get the criticism from the mainstream media? No, because that wouldn't look right. It wouldn't fit the narrative to criticize and denigrate a Black woman. But they are the ones who are causing, or at least contributing to, more and more low culture.
That's a good point, because they're always screaming, protect Black women, protect Black women. But I mean, I'm going to be real. Like, this is what you want to protect. You go around acting like twerking on your videos and stuff. And I mean, it's funny or whatever, but you can't have or offer protection or ask for protection if you're acting like this.
Yeah, it goes both ways. I mean, it's a time and place for everything. But I'm just of the mindset that I think a lot of people are, especially who live in Baltimore City, that this place is out of control. And so I really don't want to see my state's attorney dancing right now. I want to see her, behind the desk putting in work. We have here a comment: twerking to get votes is disrespectful. It's not something for kids to look up to. Yep, that was Belinda.
Yeah, and one of the comments,
they can look at her ass in that video.
And one of the comments also said something about objectifying women. Like, they always, on the left, they scream that, women are being objectified. And isn't that exactly what she's doing? Like, look at my body, and vote for me. Like, she's attracting people literally with her body. And like, that's what the kind of message that she's sending to, let's say, young girls. You want to get attention, you want to get into political office. That's what you're gonna do. Like,
yeah, well, this is how it is. So backwards. They preach this. My body, my choice, and then they do stuff like this. Or you see it talking about the Me Too movement. And I'm not saying anybody deserves to be raped or assaulted or anything like that. But you teach, they want to be respected in the workplace, and then you doing this. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, how many teenagers are looking at this, and then they're copying this behavior, and then they're putting themselves in dangerous situations by behaving that way?
Yeah, we have Belinda here. She says she should be in her office working late and having a camera follow her around. Yeah, I just respect her a little bit more if she did that. We have here Rodney Stewart says enforced policies voted on and approved by the parents and enforced fairly. Okay.
That's the last topic.
Yeah. So we will continue to look at the to follow these stories as we generally do. So again, join the conversation as you guys have been doing by leaving a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. Check us out on our website at www.metroconservativemedia.com for up-to-date information. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. All right, so we are moving right on to our pop-off round. This is the rapid fire round where I need each of the co-hosts to pop off on a trending topic and provide their reaction in 30 seconds or less. All right, so let's go. We are starting off tonight with Shelly. Shelly, take a look at this clip and I just want to get your thoughts.
So I literally had a conversation with my mom. I was like, okay, I'm finna tell you stuff and stop me when I get disrespectful. I express my feelings, but that don't happen with everybody. And so when I was standing up here and you guys were like, don't belittle your children, but the whole statement of you're not on my level sounds like belittlement to us. It's saying you don't have as much value as me. You're not as important to me. You don't put up what I put up, so you can't have a say so in what we do. You don't pay bills. You don't own this house. You don't pay for nothing. So and it's
that's good.
And it.
Go ahead.
And when you bring up the stuff that you do for your children, it makes us feel like a burden. It makes us feel like I can't wait till I grow up so I don't have to be a burden to you anymore. If you say it's like when people be like your parents had a life before you, it makes you feel like I made you so miserable and bitter and like I just don't want to be here anymore because you don't want me to be here anymore. So why should I be here and put my best foot forward if the person who gave birth to me and made me come in this life doesn't want me? How am I supposed to look at somebody else for love if I feel like I'm not getting love at home?
All right. So,
oh my goodness. I can comment?
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Okay, first of all, I love twits, okay? I love young twits. But she's right. Parents do pay the bills, okay? Don't try to manipulate me or any other parent with that. Oh, you don't love me because you won't let me do what I want to do. Damn straight. You don't pay the bills. You don't wash the clothes. You don't go to work. You don't get it. All you got to do is take your little ass to school from K through 12, come home and you get 3 hots and a cot every damn day. Oh, absolutely. That little I don't love you stuff, that does not work with me, okay? Does not. I don't want you for my friend. No, you're not on my level because you don't have the experience and the wisdom that I have had, just like I said the same thing to my elders when I was younger. That BS does not work with me, little twit, and we still love you.
Okay. All right. Moving right along to you, Yana. So the University System of Maryland's Board of Regents voted to drop the SATs and ACTs as an admission requirement at its 12 universities. But that doesn't mean that prospective students are necessarily off the hook when it comes to standardized tests for college admissions. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's a good idea to drop these SATs and ACTs as a requirement?
I'm not really sure. I think that I want to know why they did that. So is it like a equity thing? Like maybe at the same time, I don't know. Like I'm not like a big fan of standardized testing, so I can't say that I really support them, but I would like to know why they dropped them. I think that I really don't have an answer on this. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of standardized testing, so maybe I don't know. Maybe they had a reason for it.
All right, T. Take a look at this here. So we have an interracial couple that is turning Twitter upside down. So the beautiful couple got married this past weekend in Gulfport, Mississippi, and they decided to jump the broom at the ceremony. So when the photographer posted the pictures online, it's safe to say that Black Twitter wasn't having it. So to give background to anybody, jumping the broom is a tradition that dates back to slavery. When two slaves wanted to marry each other, they were not allowed to do so legally. So they would get a broom and jump over it together to signify their love and bond. Many people hold this tradition tightly in the Black community because of its ancestral weight that it carries. So what are your thoughts on this, T? Some people were saying it was disrespectful for the interracial couple to do this jumping the broom. Other people said, if that's what they want to do at their wedding, then I don't have an issue with it. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it's a violation. He violated the ancestral power, whatever the word is, of the Black people enslaved. Just you gave the you know to ask me this question. That's why she picked it. you gave the background of what jumping the broom means, and just from the beginning, the reason it was even created, we had to jump the broom. And now you got Becky over here trying to jump a broom with you. Sit down, bro. You get all your Black cards is revoked. No more.
All right.
Y'all can have them.
Oh, all right. All right.
Period.
Let's move right along to Colleen. So Colleen,
that was hilarious. I think it is kind of distasteful, honestly, personally. Okay. I don't know. I just think in this political climate, like, girl, did you have to?
I blame him though. I don't blame her.
Right.
I don't blame her at all.
Whose idea do you think it was, though?
Say what?
Whose idea do you think it was? His or hers? To jump the broom.
No, he knows better. That's why I said it's a violation.
Oh, he's okay.
His mama, his sister, his cousin, somebody should have told him. Just like these companies that do these advertisements, that's the Black people are like, what the hell happened?
So
somebody
I've never heard of that tradition. Why do they do that?
It's a big tradition. Like I said, back in slavery times, slaves were not legally allowed to get married. So their kind of symbolization of getting married was they would lay a broom out on the ground and they would jump it. And that was like them becoming married. So a lot of weddings, it was really big, like in the 90s and things like that. I haven't seen it done too much lately at weddings.
My cousin did it Sunday at her wedding.
Oh, she did? Okay. See? Okay. So, yeah, you have real world experience. Yeah, I used to see it all the time where you would do it at the wedding, jump the broom to kind of show the significance of the historical significance of it. All right. So, we'll have to move on to that because we are moving on to Colleen's pop-off. All right. So, Colleen, take a look at this clip, and then I want to get your response.
It's Independence Day, so let's talk about what's going on in America. Freedom is under attack in your state. Your Republican leaders, they're banning books, making it harder to vote, restricting speech in classrooms, even criminalizing women and doctors. I urge all of you living in Florida to join the fight, or join us in California, where we still believe in freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom to choose, freedom from hate, and the freedom to love. Don't let them take your freedom.
Paid for by Newsom for California Governor 2022.
All right. So that was, again, Gavin Newsom, governor of California, stepping up his criticism of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and furthering his speculation that he might be mulling a 2024 presidential bid. He's airing these ads in Florida, urging residents to join us in California. What are your thoughts on this? You think people are going to leave?
No, I'm moving to Florida because I want freedom, Governor Newsom. Just so you know, I am so excited to move there and vote for Ron DeSantis and pay no state income tax. And your state has a lot of it, and that state has none. So I'm so excited for that. And any stupid Californian that really wants to take their happy ass back to California and pay extra taxes, I won't stop you. I definitely will not. I will not, because it costs more. In this economy, think about your money, honestly. If you have money like that, then go for it. But honestly, think more than about the right to abortion, because that's really what triggered this. And honestly, what's more important, $5 per gallon gas or just driving a few hours. How many abortions a year are women going to plan on getting? Like, I can't imagine why anybody would be like, you know what? They're going to restrict abortion here in Florida. We need to get the hell out of here and go to California. That's crazy to me. I mean, that's a rich person's thinking to be like, let's move for abortion laws. That's definitely a rich person's thinking right there. Like, I can't relate. It's crazy.
Colleen, where are you moving to again?
Jacksonville. You already know.
Really? You know that.
So
yeah, that was good. That was a good one right there. So that is our pop-offs. Join the conversation, as I always say, by leaving a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Do you have a question that you'd like to hear answered by one of the co-hosts? Email me, kj@metroconservativemedia.com. We will ask the co-host your question during our next pop-off. All right. So let me see here. Do we have any? We have here Denise Glover. So typical for the left to accuse conservatives of what they, in fact, are doing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I meant to say that too. Yep.
Yeah, right. So also we have here Rodney says people should vote with their wallets. Well, we will see. Because elections are coming up, and I hope people do have the common sense to vote their wallets. So,
and their guns.
That's what a lot of Democrats do say about Trump, or Republicans in general.
I actually want to be really clear, because I think this is this is why I'm really glad you guys picked this clip for this pop-off round. I decided to move because I was scared that this vaccine mandate that this would linger in the future. And when Ron DeSantis was like, I'm going to pass legislation so that nobody has to be stuck with a shot, a bad side effect, and that's it. I'm going to hold your employers accountable. I was like, let's go now. So thank you for picking that clip. Crazy.
All right. Moving right along to our next topic tonight. It's the 4th of July. So many celebrities and public figures complained about lack of freedom this 4th of July. Some went so far as to say it's not worth celebrating. So just to give you a kind of example, National Public Radio abandoned its traditional reading of the Declaration of Independence in favor of a discussion on equality. So this was a really big change this year. I could certainly see it. We've take a look at this. Many celebrities across the board. We have Kim Kardashian said something about not celebrating. Katy Perry, and then we had Jessica Chastain. All women. I think they were holding different issue with the Roe decision, and basically saying they felt like they weren't as free. So what do you guys think about this? I'll start with you, Shelley. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. First of all, I don't take my freedom cues or anyone else from these fake celebrities or so-called celebrities that want to just have fame and glory. And it's interesting, you said these 3 women. Now we have 3 white women telling us how we are not free and what we should do. It's never ending. It's never ending. You can't make this crap up.
Yeah. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Yana, on this? Celebrities and some people also say they were not celebrating 4th of July this year because they felt like they weren't free.
Right. And I don't know if some people just are not doing it this year or they're just not celebrating it in general. Like some people that I've seen online. And it's disgusting to me. Like when I think of the Declaration of Independence, when it was signed, we didn't even have a country yet. There was an idea. It was an idea of a country that would give an opportunity for people that opportunities that they didn't have in other parts of the world. And now we have people, and for many years, we literally have people dying to come into this country. Like you've seen recently in Texas, there was a truck full of people where 50 people were dead because they were trying to get into this country. And these celebrities that have everything, that made the fortunes here, they're not appreciating this country. And so, you know what? One of the privileges that United States citizens have is we can go to almost any country in the world without a visa. So please, go check out other places.
Yeah, yeah. What are your thoughts on this, T? Again, people are saying that this Fourth of July they were sitting it out. We had some. I saw one person who commented who said talking about the fireworks and said, "Oh, I see that there's fireworks today on a random Monday." So again, trying to just say the holiday doesn't exist. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know what celebrities these are, who these people are who were not celebrating July 4th, but from what I saw, everybody was outside. We were outside playing. We outside. That's the hashtag. We outside. High girl summer. So people have been locked up for 2 years and they are celebrating. We just had Juneteenth a month ago and people outside then, and here we are now. I don't know who these people are who aren't celebrating, but we outside, bitch.
All right. All right. What about you, Colleen? Again, 4th of July this year, people are saying that they were sitting it out because they didn't feel free. Before I get your answer, I want to give you guys this. A Gallup poll was taken recently said the lowest number of Americans in recorded polling history identified strongly proud to be American. So apparently usually it's in like the 80s. Now it's down to 65% of Americans feel like they're proud. So what are your thoughts on that, on this 4th of July?
Well, I just think that, like with gas prices like they are, I mean, apparently supposedly they're going down, but not by much. But I mean, just with all that we got going on and as much as people are hurting these days, it's like, I just can't imagine that everybody's really feeling like they're less free because of abortion. I'm just, especially when it's not even going to be illegal across the board. It's just going to be in maybe possibly some states in the future. But like, it's going to be like a huge majority of states that are going to have some form of abortion still. So I don't know. I just think it's silly. And I don't think that the average American voter agrees with them.
Yeah. Paul Waldman of the Washington Post wrote that it was time to declare our independence from the founding fathers. So he explained America of 1789 becomes a prison. The conservative justices, talking about the Supreme Court, can lock us all in whenever it suits them. What are your thoughts on that, Yana? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Shelley.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I talked about Mr. Wolkman's article. I briefly scanned it a little bit, but I got some of his highlights. But what's interesting, I think, is that these are the same people who would rather us be miserable, locked down. During the actual lockdowns, these people said nothing. They were okay with it because they felt protected in their own little bubbles away from the masses of people who might infect them. They are full of it. They're liars. They are so phony. Now they're going to tell us we can't have our freedom. And when the lockdowns are over, for most people who did abide by them, they're over now. We're out in the open air. They are so full of it. After slavery, even the freed slaves, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, they were for freedom. They were for America. This is our country. This is my country. I was born free. Okay. So I'm not going to have anyone else. I don't care what they look like, what their title is, tell me that I'm not free. God said I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And guess what? I'm showing up in my fearfully and wonderfully made self. No, I won't be tweaking my ass tea, but I will show up free as can be.
All right. And
First
it's
of all,
actually twerking.
First of all, it's twerking. Okay.
That's true. You're right.
You can tweak your ass too nowadays. You get a BBL.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do, Scully. I didn't know you want to do that.
But... You're right. It is twerking. I won't be twerking or tweaking. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to just get your thoughts on that, Yana, because I know you, as a historian, may have a different perspective on that. And as an immigrant, coming here from another country, what are your thoughts on the 4th of July?
On the 4th of July in general?
Right. As far as freedom, do you feel that the country is less free, a free place now?
Well, I feel like like I said, we have to celebrate 4th of July because it's an idea that we're working towards a better union, all the things that the founding fathers have prescribed. Do I feel like I'm getting disappointed by what is going on in the country? Of course, like under President Trump, like I felt a lot happier on 4th of July. Right now, it's kind of like I gotta get through this, this time. It feels like the administration right now, they are literally saying we don't care about your struggles, that the gas is like $5. We have to maintain our liberal world order. Like they're literally saying that. So how is this pro-American? Then they're sending millions of dollars to foreign wars instead of investing it here or spending it here on people that need.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I do feel very disappointed, and I'm afraid. I mean, I'm really afraid for this country. What I do have to say, I was watching some documentary today, and I learned that actually in pre-communist Russia, some of the most successful people, and I mean people who were like working class, not working class, but people who lived off the land, some of the most successful were the most conservative and the most religious, happened to be the most successful in pre-communist Russia. And I thought that was an interesting fact that we have to learn from that. That if we got to stick to our conservative values, because all they're trying to do is they're trying to tear us apart, and they would want to take the country away from people who actually believe in this country.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, I'll ask you guys join the conversation. Keep it up with the comments. Let me go to some of the comments here. So we have here, let's see here, Denise Glover. So typical for the left to accuse conservatives of what they in fact are doing. Oh, I think I took that one already. Okay. And then we have here Denise Glover again. Say it loud, Shelley. Yeah, absolutely.
Always does.
All right. And then Darlene says people can't afford to celebrate. Yeah, so that's something that's actually true, because you guys are saying gas is $5, but I think in California it's more like six or up to $8 in some areas. So again, we'll continue to mark this. Share this post, share this video with someone that that may have said had these sentiments that they didn't want to celebrate 4th of July because they didn't feel free. I would love for them to comment and provide their perspective on that. So again, join the conversation by leaving a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And subscribe. Hit that subscribe bell on YouTube so you're always up to date on our posts and our content. Check us out on our website at www.metroconservativemedia.com for up-to-date information. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. And if you do decide to donate, we will send you a private video of T twerking. All right. Moving right along to our final topic.
Get some sponsors, though. Hey, let's see what we can do, guys.
I'm joking. All right. So we were moving right along to actually a much more serious topic. The terror in Highland Park, the suburb outside of Chicago. So something else that happened on 4th of July. So there, as you guys know, Monday there was a shooting at a 4th of July parade in an area called Highland Park, which is a suburb outside of Chicago. The accused shooter was killed 7 people and wounded scores more. Officials said that he left behind an extensive online presence, and they're investigating rap videos he uploaded on YouTube. So this is once again tragic, horrifying, scary. it's because we had this happen in another parade. Remember Waukesha? We discussed this last year Christmas. That was a Christmas parade where some lunatic drove his vehicle through a crowd of people walking in the parade. I mean, this is ridiculous. What's causing this? And what are the possible solutions? I want to start with you, Shelley.
Oh, what's causing? I have two words. Said them before. At least I've said one of them: evil and resentment. That's all I can think of. Evil and resentment. There's absolutely no reason that will justify or satisfy any any reasonable sane person's mind to kind of process this. Except for me, it's evil and some resentment is there.
All right. And what are your thoughts on this, Yana? Again, we had this happen at the Christmas parade in Waukesha. Now 4th of July, with someone shooting innocent people, innocent bloodshed. What are your thoughts?
So actually, it reminds me, like the situation in the country reminds me of the 90s in Russia and places where I grew up, because we had this, we were disillusioned, everybody was disillusioned with the system, or the system that was in place up to that point. There was lack of patriotism. People did not believe in their country anymore. There was so much resentment for each other, and so there was no moral education. Religion barely existed. So, and there was so much violence. So this is, and we just talked about how majority of people are not celebrating 4th of July, or they don't feel, what did you say? Like they don't feel proud of this country. So like it's not surprising that it's literally crumbling, and the way to bring it back is to bring patriotism back and love for the country and for the people and for the ideas of what this country stands for.
Interesting perspective, Yana. Definitely one to look into. What are your thoughts, T, on this? Why do you think we're seeing things like this 4th of July massacre, shooting, and the Waukesha parade massacre? Why are we seeing this?
I think piggybacking off of what Shelley said, but people are crazy. I don't know if it's people have gotten crazier because of the fallout of the pandemic. I said it that way for a reason. But the word that starts with V that people, put inside themselves. I don't know if it's a result from that, or you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know.
I can't.
You lost me there.
So the medicines that people are putting inside of them since the pandemic happened.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I'm trying not to,
When you said V and something they put inside themselves, I'm thinking, I'm a vibrator. It's just like you. I don't know what you were talking
about. Okay, that was fair. Anyway, so the medicines that people are putting inside of them since the pandemic has happened, I think it's gotten people crazier, and they're doing things that we haven't done before or something, or maybe we were doing it before. It's just now technology, and we have video cameras and the internet to keep up with us. So, but either way, I think things are just it's escalating. Mental health issues and all this stuff.
Yeah, you're right. What are your thoughts on this, Colleen? What's going on? Why is this happening? Again, we saw what happened in Waukesha at the Christmas parade, and then now this at the 4th of July parade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think that like we've normalized weirdness too much. And I think that it's caused a lot of people to miss too many red flags. I mean, I think that there are some weirdos out there that would see his videos and be like, it's art, and it's like, no, these need to be red flags. Like these need to be reported. These are the things that should be going against YouTube's violations or whatever, not the things that we say. you know? So it's just crazy to me that we've just normalized such weird behavior. So it's hard to really catch red flags if you're following, you know, the narrative today.
Well, yeah, and it's lack of community too. Like these red flags, like they should be caught by people in this person's surrounding. Where's the community? Like who is talking to? I don't know who. He was young, right? Like so.
Well, the guy,
does he have family?
He had mental health, and this was something I wanted to bring up to you guys. You know, so he was under 21, and the application, he had to get an application because in Illinois state, in order to get a firearm owner's identification, if you're 21, you have to have a sponsor. So his father sponsored him to get the gun license. But at the time, the application reviewed was in January of 2020. However, the guy was a nut, and he was showing signs of it way before then. So in 2019, he had threatened to kill himself and later his family. In September of 2019, police recovered swords, knives, and other bladed weapons from his home from the suspect after a family member reported that he wanted to, quote, kill everyone.
Right. If you get caught saying you want to kill somebody, you should never own a gun. Like, I mean,
it's up to his parents to
right. And KJ, remember that was when he would have been a teenager, technically a late teenager. So the juvenile records, if there were any, are not going to be open. They're going to be sealed, right?
Right, so but his parents should know.
No, you're right. His parents should know. But when I said resentment, Yana was saying about this disconnect from community. And so, T, to your question, this is not new. There has been research. There's a famous sociologist, Durkheim. He talked about this back in the 1800s about this idea called anomie. When you are disconnected from community, when you're disconnected from family, those values, those tethers that would keep people grounded, the majority of people would keep you grounded, the social structures, when they're gone, all hell is going to break out. Not to mention, of course, this is talked about in the Bible. So no, this is not new. We're seeing more of it, or at least it seems like we're seeing more of it, maybe because of the technology, but these things are not new. Are they going to get worse? Unfortunately, I think they will. I think they are going to get worse. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, we see a culture now where you have, abortion on demand, where you have this push of sexual promiscuity, and using our bodies, our sexual promiscuity to move ahead, to get what we want. You see, and praised for it. You see all this happening, and there are no standards, no morals, nothing. Everything is just gone out the window. And then when stuff like this happens, people are quick to, say or demonize, law-abiding citizens who own firearms and things like that. So again, it's always this kind of reactionary thing instead of being proactive and changing some of the our lifestyle and some of the choices that we're making. It's just sad. What do you guys think as far as solutions to this? I know we mentioned some, but what can we do? I mean, again, the parents would condone him purchasing this firearm. He actually had to have them okay it. And he was suicidal in the past. He had made threats of killing people in the past. Is their whole moral compass off?
Yeah, maybe there may be, but I have two solutions that I typically will offer. One, bring back the death penalty across the board nationwide for first degree premeditated murder, number one. Number two, armed citizens. Legally armed, trained, educated citizens who know how to take out bad guys like that on the spot. Maybe it may not happen 100% of the time. Maybe some people may still be hurt or killed, but maybe we can reduce and minimize the carnage. Armed, trained citizens, legal people, good guys with guns, being able to take out the pieces of shit that do things like this.
Yeah. I mean, those are options.
I mean, I can't help but notice that these shootings happen in a lot of blue states. With the exception of Uvalde, it's been in a majority blue states where people are normally unarmed. I mean, if I'm walking around in a red state, I just automatically feel safer knowing that there's a high probability that if something goes down, probably a few people in this room have guns on them. You know what I mean? But I mean, I will never go to a parade in New York City while there's still a Democrat governor. I will never take a subway in New York City ever again while there's Democrats in charge. Like, I mean, it's just chaos. Like they've literally left an unsafe world for us, you know?
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. It certainly feels that way. Well, we are coming to the end of our show tonight. Any last thoughts from you ladies on any of the topics that we've discussed?
Yeah. Arm yourselves, get educated, get some classes, get some training, particularly women, Black women, white, but I don't care, particularly women. Arm yourselves, take some training so that you can at least have some basic knowledge on safety for firearms to protect yourself and your families, and advocate for the death penalty.
And we can do that in Maryland now. You can actually you can have a handgun now. You don't need an excuse anymore. Hogan changed that. That's probably the only good thing I can give him a.
Can I correct you, please? Can I correct you, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you need an HQL still, though, right? Not concealed carry.
You could always have a handgun. Number one. Number two, Hogan didn't change anything. The Supreme Court decision came down 2 weeks ago now.
Right.
That right. So he had to respond. Yeah. He didn't change anything. So he only suspended.
So let's not give him credit.
Well, you do have to give him credit because there are some governors who are still trying to push against this. As New York, Holcomb, or whatever her name is, the governor of New York, even though the Supreme Court handed down this not sentence, but
she basically said you can't carry a gun anywhere you actually need it.
Yeah, she's put in all these restrictions on the Supreme Court decision.
Yep.
So, elections matter.
Yes.
Elections matter.
New York, get out and vote. My God.
And I'll say,
go ahead.
In addition to what Shelley said about getting gun trainings and these courses and everything, I'd suggest even a twerking course for Black women, since she said that.
No, what I was going to say was when Governor Hogan made the announcement that he was removing the provisions, that all those provisions you have to jump through to get a concealed carry license, he didn't say this is for white people. He didn't say this is only for Asian people. He didn't say this is Black people would not allow or able to do this. And you have this narrative, Joy Behar. You have this narrative, Joy Reid, who go around these liberals who say white people don't want Black people to own guns. No law says that. None. So we all can go and get these concealed carries. I don't think you can do it if you have a felony or something like that. But, it doesn't matter your skin color. And that was not put in the law. So,
But you will need an ID.
Right.
Just to let you know, you're going to need an ID here.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, you see these people, they push these crazy narratives and people fall for it every time, and it's not the case. So I suggest if you are in Maryland and the provision has been lifted and you meet all the other guidelines, go and get your concealed carry, especially if you're in Baltimore City. All right. So on that note, this brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for watching. Continue the conversation by checking us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and subscribe. Again, you guys were overwhelmingly provided feedback last week from our show. If you're watching today and you missed last week's episode, definitely check it out. And so many people provided feedback on that, and we really appreciate it. Keep it coming. So you have to subscribe. You have to hit that bell on YouTube. Share this broadcast on your social, Instagram, Facebook. Click the link from YouTube and post it or copy it to your newsfeed. And share it and subscribe. That way you get up-to-the-minute content when we post. And we appreciate the support. We are an independent media, and each time you subscribe, it helps make our voice that much stronger. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. Again, check us out on our website at www.metroconservativemedia.com. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, count your blessings and live a life counted.